Now we'll move to our 10:20 a.m. facilities management item, the Placer County Fairgrounds at Roseville Annual Update and Attaway Pavilion Acceptance.
You sit right there and we'll tag team with each other and back and forth.
Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Kim.
Kim's not here, I'm not gonna introduce her just yet, so
Yeah.
ignore the woman sitting next to me. Eric Finley, your Real Estate Services Manager for Department of Facilities Management. And we're here today for your board to receive an update on the status of the Placer County Fairgrounds, including a report from Placer Valley Sports Complex, Inc., to approve and authorize the Director of Facilities Management or designee to execute a second amendment to the assignment, assumption, and operating agreement with Placer Valley Sports Complex, Inc. for the acceptance and ownership of the Attaway Pavilion, subject to County Council and Risk Management concurrence, and determine that the requested actions are exempt from California Environmental Quality Act CEQA review per guidelines sections 15.301. So I'm going to come back at a later date on the acceptance of the Attaway Pavilion that we're going to talk about, a request. But first, I want to give you an update, and I'm upside down. So this is the Placer County Fairgrounds in Roseville. It's 61 acres, and the property is owned by Placer County. All of the improvements, except for one, are owned by Placer County. But the facility is operated by Placer Valley Sports Complex, Inc. You'll also hear us talk about Placer Valley Tourism, PVT, At the Grounds, and I have an expert that is going to explain the relationship of all those entities at a later date. But you'll also hear the facility referred to as the Fairgrounds or At the Grounds. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around that the facility is at the grounds and the entity operating it is at the grounds. So again, I have an expert that's going to explain that in a few moments.
Thank you.
The site is the venue for the Placer County Fair, as well as other events that occur. And we've owned the property since 1939. In the last 10 to 20 years, funding for fairs statewide has diminished, and it's been very difficult to manage fair sites and to get the revenue and do the deferred maintenance that needs to be done on fairground sites. And we had a visionary, Dave Attaway, and Mark Rideout with the Placer County, he was a deputy director with Parks, who really contemplated what would be the revitalized fairgrounds or what that would look like. And between their hard work and dedication and the support of the Placer County Board, we were able to execute in 2017 an assignment, assumption, and operating agreement with PVT, PVSC, At the Grounds. You get that one. So we have this agreement in place, and what this allows is for PVT to manage the entire facility as well as renovate all the existing halls that we have and do new construction. And they've done a fabulous job of that. And so with that, there's been new leadership at the fairgrounds. All right, what did I do, Megan?
There you are. Hi.
Bottom left. There we go. So we have two longtime contributors of the fairgrounds that have led to its success, Kim Summers and Carrie Frankenhauser, which I'm going to slaughter her name, and I did it. How did I do? So. I can never get that one. I asked her why she's not Carrie Smith, and she's not. They have both been promoted to leadership roles within the organization, and I'm thrilled. Kim is now the CEO of both PVT, Placer Valley Tourism, and At the Grounds, the facility at the site. And then Carrie is the general manager of the At the Grounds and also the fairgrounds manager. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Kim to take over the presentation, and she'll figure out the remote better than I did, so.
Hopefully don't hit the bottom.
Okay,
Don't hit the bottom. Turn it off.
thank you.
Okay.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Great to see you. And thank you, Eric. And first off, yes, I'd like to explain the alphabet soup that you hear us talking about so often. Placer Valley Tourism is a business improvement district. Is actually 100% of our funding comes from the 24 hotels within the city limits of Roseville, Rockland, and Lincoln. So that's how Placer Valley Tourism is created. We were actually a 501c6. Out of that, we had a need to drive hotel stays in our area, so we partnered with the county, and we actually formed a new organization, the Placer Valley Sports Complex, and it's actually a DBA as At the Grounds. So hopefully that has cleared some of those confusions, but At the Grounds is actually what manages and operates the current fairgrounds premises. And the difference is, as I mentioned, for Placer Valley Tourism, our focus is really bettering the overall health of the hotel industry within those three cities. For the Placer Valley Sports Complex, Inc., DBA At the Grounds, we are a 501c3, a nonprofit, here to hopefully help lessen the burden on the government to operate a fairgrounds, an emergency shelter venue as well. And our mission is really to be the premier venue, premier gathering space for all social, business, and competitions in Placer County, and to promote economic and development and community growth in the region. Success, yay. This past year, in June 22nd through 25th, we hosted the 85th Placer County Fair, and what a fantastic turnout. In fact, we were actually some marketing geniuses. We ordered 85-degree weather for the whole week, so it may have helped the attendance there slightly, but we had a phenomenal turnout. Our vendor attendance was up by 43%. Our volunteerism, people supporting the community, has been up as well. We shifted the footprint a little bit this year to really incorporate the Roseville Center, bring a lot of stuff indoors to celebrate the heat that we usually have in those months. But it really was a fantastic year, and we're seeing more and more of the community to come out and support the fair, because without the community, that is what the fair is. We could not be successful without the community, and it's been really great to see the evolution of that come through. A big component of the Placer County Fair is the livestock component. It's been really fun for us to work through the livestock committee and work with the great personalities that we have in there. Very, very passionate about livestock in the region. Our exhibitors range from ages 8 to 18. We had almost 150 entries this year, and as well as the community has come out and supported the livestock auction. In 2022, we had over $400,000 come in over the auction for the junior livestock, seeing over a 55% increase in auction sales alone. So again, just really seeing the community come out and really supporting the ag community. As part of the Placer County Fair, County of Placer has been a tremendous supporter, and they've been a sponsor the last 3 years in a row. This year, the county staff actually got to enjoy the Roseville Center and be indoors in the air-conditioned space, and they brought along 12 different county departments to participate. As you can see here in the presentation, a couple of those pictures from all the different departments showcasing and really being at the ground level and interacting with the community, the county residents has been really great. And again, probably broken record, community support, both in the residents, in the businesses, and in the county, and this just keeps elevating our fair every year. So again, thank you very much for your support. It's been very wonderful to see the growth of the fair come through. Next, we have the Roseville Center. As we've mentioned before, it actually opened in February of 2020. It's a 160,000 square foot event center. Although we had to close down 3 weeks after the grand opening for the COVID pandemic, we really worked with county staff and we pivoted. We were able to open as a COVID vaccination site and then a testing site. So it really has been great and instrumental to not only be there, work with county staff, but be there in the time of need for our community when they need it. Now that we're fully open without any restrictions or guidelines, we've been really focused on growing our events. The Roseville Center has been very much packed and booked on events pretty much every weekend. So our growth right now has been really focused on the midweek business, looking to bring some more conferences and trade shows, community gatherings midweek to that venue as well. And the last few months we have become very busy on campus, and I'd like to say I think the business community is finally able to return back to business as usual. Just recently we've held a couple big, large trade shows. The Growth Factory had their big event there, a couple other human resources, and California Department of Water also held a trade show there as well. As I mentioned, for the Roseville Center, state-of-the-art venue. It has 12 basketball courts inside. If you've never been there, please come on out. We'd definitely love to show you around. 24 volleyball courts. Has 35-foot ceilings, 10,000 square foot lobby alone. The atrium itself has become a really great meeting venue to have midweek. People really like what we have in there, the AV components as well. But what we really saw this year is the return of the really big, high-level tournaments come to the Roseville Center. We had a couple of national tournaments that were open to NCAA recruiting personnel to come out, and lots of media as well. And people often say, wow, who would have thought the Roseville Center right here in Placer County? It's been just really amazing to see people come through on that side. And as I mentioned, besides just sports, we're doing a lot more conferences. We have an amazing relationship. We do SAC Anime on Easter weekend. As you all know, Easter floats around, and be able to find an annual event that actually enjoys being kind of in that floating rotational period is kind of hard to find. It's definitely a unicorn in the event world, and we found that unicorn. So SAC Anime, they love coming out, and not only have they utilized the Roseville Center, they actually this past year utilized the entire campus, all of our buildings, even indoor and outdoor. So it's just been really amazing to see that. As well as August is kind of our show month. We do a quilt show, a gem and mineral show, a home show, lots of great stuff in there as well. We've seen a lot of different diversity come through those. As Eric mentioned, our newest addition is the Attaway Pavilion. We replaced the old beer garden that was there beforehand, and it has been really a true gem to the region. We have been able to host many things in there, as well as be a showcase for when we had our fire camp for the mosquito fire. It was a great addition for the fair. We were able to increase our entertainment and have some real bands come out for the fair, so that's been exciting as well. And as well for this, as many different things are moving for this, and we're renting this pavilion. We're really looking at our 2024 calendar and our budget and starting to plan accordingly. As well as we're still in discussions with what potentially might happen with the Speedway next year. We have a year-to-year agreement with Bill McAnally Racing, and there are some discussions for next year as well on that side. And as Eric mentioned, our previous CEO, David Attaway, passed away quite suddenly in 2022. And Attaway Pavilion was kind of his last project that he was working on, and unfortunately was still under construction when he passed away. So we worked with the county and renamed the beer garden to the Attaway Pavilion in his memory, and he has been a tremendous visionary leader. And to be able to give tours and still talk about all the historical things we were able to salvage and keep as part of the renovations, I feel his legacy live on that campus, and it's just been really amazing. Some different utilization that we're using for At the Grounds campus. As I mentioned before, with COVID regulations free and clear, we were really able to open up in 2022. As you can see here on the presentation, just the huge increase of events. So in 2020, when we weren't doing very much, it was 94 events. Fast forward to 2022, we were doing over 233 events. Same thing with all of these events from the Placer Valley tourism side. As I mentioned before, we really look at the hotel industry. We're really trying to bring events, especially in the Roseville Center, on those weekend dates. And so when people stay in the hotels, they pay sales tax, they pay hotel tax. We do not get any of that tax assessment that goes into the TOT city funds, so they're contributing to the tourism economic development cycle as well. And as you can see there, in 2020, we had just over 1,300 room nights, and in 2022, we did over 12,000 room nights just associated with At the Grounds. I'm happy to report so far in 2023, we've hit over 15,000 room nights for just room nights coming out of At the Grounds. So, and with that, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Kim.
I will share that the 2021 consolidated financial statement for an independent auditor's report was submitted to the county by AGT and At the Grounds, and it was approved by our auditor controller's office. So we have that. In addition to all the great venues and all the fun events they do, Kim and her staff make the facility also available to the county in time of need. So as she mentioned, the mosquito fire in September, the whole facility really got taken over by CAL FIRE with crews, equipment, materials, feeding, all kinds of things going on. And it was a wonderful support for our community in a time of need. They also provide facilities for vaccine clinics and medical clinics. They provide services for our Board of Supervisors. We'll meet there sometimes, or we'll have public meetings there. Elections is also used facilities there, and it also is available for other needs as far as evacuation of animals, any time of need. So it's great to have a partner that not only looks to operate and do all these great things, but also support our community and our county in a time of need. Traffic is one of the big issues that Kim and her team work on. They're working closely with the city of Roseville, the police department, county staff. And one of the big improvements that's coming and is getting close to being done is a roundabout on Washington Avenue. As you can see, this will really help people either bypass the fairgrounds or get in and out of the fairgrounds as needed. So we're really excited. But just ongoing, there can be a large number of people exiting the grounds after a large event. And so Kim needs to work with Roseville PD and others to make sure that traffic is managed. And there are ongoing ideas that will be coming up for potential improvements down the road. So we'd like to show a quick video that is going to load. I'm going to hit the button. There we go. Thank you. I'm going to sit for a second. So now to the business portion of what we're proposing to do. Again, the county owns all the improvements, including the Roebland Center. That was transferred to the county in 2022, I believe, per an agreement that we had. So the only improvement that we do not currently own is the new Attaway Pavilion. So we're requesting your board approve and authorize the Director of Facilities Management or designee to execute a second amendment to the assignment, assumption, and operating agreement with Placer Valley Sports Complex for the acceptance and ownership of the Attaway Pavilion, subject to County Council and Risk Management concurrence. And I will share that the county is not paying to receive this ownership, and we will not maintain this facility. So per the AAO agreement, all the facilities and grounds are managed and maintained and paid for by At the Grounds. So we'll just be taking ownership of it to make it consistent as our policy is with all the facilities. The county was very generous when we first entered into this agreement with funds to help kick off this whole renovation. But now the county really doesn't need or have to contribute anything to the operations and maintenance of the grounds. It's all done by At the Grounds. And so they are a nonprofit, but all the funds they receive from venues and activities get rolled back into our county facility, which is fabulous. So with that, Kim and I are available to answer any questions you might have, and otherwise we have our action request.
All righty, thank you. Supervisor Gore.
First of all, thank you very much for the update. Kim, I want to say thank you to you and your team for your hard work. I mean, really, the work that's happened because of Placer Valley Tourism taking over the fairgrounds, it's just not the same place it was 10 years ago, right? And it's really, your team has done a great job, and it was really a win-win. Talk about a win-win when the county partnered with Placer Valley Tourism. So thank you for your hard work, and it's terrific to see without having to divert 22 nights because of a fire, how many more room nights you've been able to sell, which is a benefit to all of South Placer. So thank you so much. What a great facility it is. And thank you too for just your hard work with the city of Roseville, the partnership there. There's some upcoming opportunities, and it's just, this is one of those things where you're like, wow, this is when government works really well with private enterprise.
Thank you. Supervisor Jones.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for that presentation. So I just wanted a little bit of clarification. So the county, we own the properties. We own everything. Just
That is correct. It is county land. We got deed to it in 1939.
okay. Okay, so then we don't pay for anything. We don't pay for maintenance. According to what you're saying, we don't pay for maintenance. So therefore, then we don't make any money off of the events that you hold there either, the county.
No, the county doesn't receive any revenue, but again, being a nonprofit, all the money that they get from that gets, for lack of a better term, plowed back into the facility. And so Kim and I were talking, and their events do cover the costs for staff and electricity and all the other things. Sometimes there's a deficit when there's a major repair that needs to be done, and they'll have to then figure out where the finance is. So it's not like there's money being sent somewhere else. It's going back into the facility.
Right, right,
But no revenue to the county, but it's,
right. I remember that facility as a kid. It's come a long way. And I do want to acknowledge David Attaway. He took me and my chief of staff on a tour of the facility back in 2021, right after I was first elected. And his vision, you know, it was amazing, his vision. And I know you've had big shoes to fill, and I think you've done more than you've surpassed your responsibilities. It's great. I've been to quite a number of events there. It's amazing how you can transform that facility to suit everything. And so I'm really in awe at how much you do and how much you've done for that place. And thank you very much. Thank you to our facility staff too for being there to assist whenever you need them.
Supervisor Gustafson.
I wanted to thank you too, Kim, and your team. Great job out there, and it is a real win-win for the county, for the residents of our county. And unfortunately, I've had to spend too much time there during mosquito fire. But what a great resource it was to be able to have that whole base camp so readily available to meeting the needs, not only of CAL FIRE, but of the Forest Service as well, and all of the allied agencies that participated in that. And just as I typically try to do is find a little humor, you know, the state fairgrounds aren't doing all that well right now, and if you have any other ideas, we would love to talk to you about our facility here in Auburn that the state has. That hasn't done quite as well with engendering partnership. How's that?
Supervisor Landon.
I just echo everything everyone else said, but I did want to add also, Thank you for your focus on the livestock portion. I know that was something that was, my predecessor, Robert, was very passionate about, and I think it's such a great piece of the fair, and I'm really thankful that you have kept that as something that's important to you as well. So thank you for that.
And I have to say that it's come a long way, and it's really super exceeded my expectations, and it's been a great partnership, and it's, as it's been said before, it's a win-win, so really, really appreciate it, so thank you. Is there anyone in the public wish to address this item? Seeing none, is anyone online? Alrighty, then I think it's time to make, to,
I move approval, but I also would like to make one other additional comment.
Sure.
I want to thank your staff back there
Yeah.
because they need to get,
Oh, yeah.
they need to get the recognition as well for making their needs all work together really well.
And I'll second that.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
The motion should include number 3, which is the termination of the requested actions exempt from CEQA guidelines, section 15301.
all right, good, thank you. So we have I see lights.
No, it's just my motion.
Okay, and Supervisor Gore, second. Motion by Supervisor Jones, second by Supervisor Gore. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? The item is moved. Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
presentation and your hard work.